Hello, my name is Andrew Thake from Minds and Money. Delighted to be joined today by Derek Iwanaka, who is the Vice President of Investor Relations and also heads up corporate development at BeMetals Corp. Delighted to have you with us today, Derek.
Andrew, it's a pleasure for me to be here.
Derek, for those who aren't familiar about BeMetals Corp, can you just tell us a little bit about the company?
Sure. It's essentially founded by a lot of the key people that started the company Bema Gold Corporation. Bema Gold started off as a junior exploration company back in the 80s, and then eventually in the early 2000s, it was acquired by Kinross for $3.5 billion. That same group of core executives and shareholders as well then went on to create B2 Gold Corporation. B2 Gold now is a multi-billion-dollar producer of gold. They have production coming out of Africa and the Philippines, and previously out of Nicaragua. And they're about a 1 million ounce producer today. So those same key people wanted to get into the base metal space as well as having exposure to the precious metals side. And so we have started BeMetals. It's actually already over 4 years ago now. But the same group of people started this company. The idea is to get this into production as well. We'd started off as a junior explorer, eventually moved to a developer, and then eventually a producer. So that is the same goal that we have here at BeMetals.
And in terms of your assets, you've got an interesting asset in Japan and another interesting asset in Zambia. Should we sort of take the Japanese asset first?
Sure. Yeah. Japan really is our focus right now. We just got into the country a little over a year ago. Unfortunately, most of the time it was actually blocked off because of COVID. But in spring of last year, we were able to get our drill crews into the country. We have successfully intersected multiple veins on the property. So we are getting good gold intersections and grades in Japan right now, primarily at our Kato project. That's the only one we've drilled so far, but we have a portfolio of 5 exploration properties in Japan, one of which we have drilled so far, but we do plan to drill one other property, which is called Todoroki. Both of those properties are in the northern island of Hokkaido, which is quite rural for Japan. Actually, it's pretty rural for almost anywhere in the world. And those are the 2 properties we're going to focus in, but we're going to do a bit of exploration on the rest of the properties as well.
What is Japan like as a mining jurisdiction?
You know, it surprisingly, actually, it is actually quite good. It's not thought of as much of a mining district since there's really not a lot of especially Western mining companies in the country. In fact, right now there are only 3 that I know of that are operating in Japan. So there's not a lot of competition, but I would say the regulations are fairly rigorous. If you follow the letter of the law in Japan, though, things work and you can get your permits, and that has worked so far for us. We've made our applications for prospecting rights in Japan. Yes, it does take some time, but we got all of them. So the system works. It is maybe not the fastest, but it works. And the pedigree of the terrain is probably one of the best you can find in the world. I mean, it really has seen very little exploration since World War II. And it hosts one of the highest grade gold mines in the world. I mean, the Hishikari gold mine, which many people don't know, is operating today. It's been operating for over 30 years, and it's producing at over 20 grams per ton. I think it's around 30 to 40 grams per ton head grade. So, I mean, it's an exceptional mine. It's been producing for a long time and keeps on going.
You mentioned that you've also got a second project in Zambia, which is a copper project. Can you just give us a brief overview about that?
Yeah, so we started the company actually with the Zambian property, which is called Pangeni. It's on the far western side of the copper belt, the Zambian copper belt, which basically goes from the eastern side of Zambia. It goes up. It's called the Thalian Arc, which then goes up and then it goes into the DRC and comes back into Zambia. And on that side of the western side is where we're situated. There hasn't been a ton of exploration. The majors are over there. Anglo is over there. Rio Tinto is over there. Barrick is not too far away, and then First Quantum is not too far away in terms of production. So we're basically surrounded by the majors. It's in, well, as the cliche goes, it's in elephant country, and we're looking for large scale copper deposits there.
So if an investor comes on board and decides to invest with BeMetals, what kind of news and highlights can they expect to hear from BeMetals over the course of the next, say, 6 to 18 months?
Well, fortunately, we're well financed. We got a loan last year, kind of late last year, from B2 Gold. So B2 Gold is our largest shareholder. They own about 19%. So they help fund us. That is going to take especially the Japanese properties forward, as well as the Zambian property. We also have a partner called JOGMEC, which is a state agency of Japan. They are our joint venture partner, or one of our joint venture partners in Zambia, which is also co-funding the exploration there. So we should have news coming from both Japan. We are drilling, we will be drilling next month in Japan, and we will have results coming from the end of last year's program. We were drilling up to about December of last year, and the results of those drilling programs should be done and I think available sometime by mid or late February. So we should have news flow coming from both sides in Japan and in Zambia.
So you've got two great projects, very, very well financed, got the support of B2 Gold. Can you tell us a little bit about the management team?
Yes, so management team, the CEO is a man named John Wilton. He's a professional geologist out of the UK. He's actually one of the co-discoverers of the Otjikoto deposit, which was is in Namibia. Eventually that was sold on to a company called Oryx, and then it was bought out by B2 Gold. B2 Gold has developed and constructed, financed that mine, and put it into production. It's now producing somewhere around 150,000 to 170,000 ounces of gold per year. So a really amazing mine in Namibia, which is working very well for B2 Gold. So that is John's background. And he stayed in touch with the guys at B2 Gold. And when they were starting BeMetals, they asked him to come on board. And along with that actually was the Pangani property. So it was kind of a 2-in-1. We got a CEO and the property in one. And so we also have many of the guys from B2 Gold. Clive Johnson in particular, CEO of B2 Gold, is one of our directors. Tom Garrigan, geologist, really, really experienced, formerly with B2 Gold, just actually retired a couple months ago. He is on our board. Roger Riche, also very, very experienced lawyer and corporate counsel, formerly with B2 Gold. He's on our board. And then Mark Conley actually was probably the most recent person to join the board, but has incredible experience in Australia. He was running the Papillon Resources when it was acquired by B2 Gold, and that brought the Fekola deposit, which is in Mali, into the fold for B2 Gold. So a lot of overlap, as you can see, with B2 Gold. So a lot of the same people that are on our board are either involved with B2 Gold or have previously been involved with B2 Gold. And then myself, I've been with a number of companies. I actually started my career in particular with Bema Gold. So I basically came back into the group in 2018. So I've been with a number of producers, Bema Gold, a uranium producer called Geronimo Energy, and a little one called Brilliant Mining, which was producing out of Western Australia, which was a nickel deposit. So I got a lot of experience with production, and that's what we're aiming to become, is the next producer.
Well, I'd certainly recommend the viewers listening to this to go and check out BeMetals Corp. That was Derek Iwanaka, who is the Vice President of Investor Relations and Corporate Development at BeMetals. Thank you very much for your time today, Derek.
Andrew, no, thank you very much for your time.